Hello and welcome back. Now, if you have been following along with the project on this truck, you'll know that we're going to be installing this rear end cover for multiple reasons. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe and keep up with some of the work we're doing. Now, everybody knows that one, you do like to have a good looking rear end cover. Not gonna lie. Two, benefits of using a cover like this would be holding extra fluid plus the supposed cooling fins. In fact, it's aluminum. So what's going to do is, with more fluid, you're going to be able to keep the fluid cooler, and that's going to help the rear end, the rear differential, the gears, bearings, everything. Now these fins are supposed to be where, as we know, aluminum not only absorbs heat, but it dissipates heat very well. So with heat from the fluid hitting the backside of this cover, it gets the cover hot. Now the aluminum will dissipate the heat, and with the fins like this, the air is supposed to pass over and help cool off a little bit more and help create a cooling effect for the rear differential. Now also, a cover like this will make it a lot easier to change your fluid. Now something like this, we have a drain plug here. Now this drain plug will allow us to just pull the plug, drain the fluid, put the plug back in, and then fill the differential fluid in the plug in the differential itself. Now that makes it, changing the fluid in the differential, as easy as an oil change without the filter. So that is pretty simple. Makes it a lot easier this way. Now you don't have to take the whole cover off because you're going to change the gasket or replace the seal that you destroyed, removing the cover or part of the cover to drain the fluid. This way you just pull the plug and done. Now when installing the cover, I usually like to take the plug out first and put a little bit of ultra black around the threads, just a little bit, just to help prevent leakage. And then what I like to do is clean surface on this and the differential. I'll go ahead and put a bead of silicone around, lay the gasket down, and wait a little bit for it to get a little sticky. That way the gasket and the hole stay lined up while you get up under there and put the cover on the differential. Now the other thing is, I'll go ahead and put, when I'm ready to put this on, put a bead on the differential itself on the outside and right into the bolt holes. That way when I put the bolts through, it'll kind of keep the nuts or the bolts tight on the cover. You won't have to worry about that normally, loosening it up. And then, as always, make sure that when you're changing to a cover like this, make sure that you have something for the bracket for your brake hoses in the rear, so they don't just bounce around like crazy back there, whether it's changing a bolt out or finding a way to put the stock bracket on the cover. Alright, so the rear cover is on. It went on fairly well, fairly easy. Nothing really to do. Now, the bolts that came with the cover actually had some longer bolts for the brackets to hold it in place. So that made that part easy. So there wasn't really anything to worry about. Now overall, these covers aren't really that cheap, but they're not really expensive either. So it's just a little added insurance for a little extra money. And like I said, it will help keep the rear differential, the gears, the bearings, all that just a little bit cooler, make them last a little bit longer. And it'll also help with maintenance, such as changing the fluid, as I stated earlier, which a lot of people neglect. So keep that in mind, that if you're one of those people who like to routinely change your differential fluid, these covers are probably the best for you, because it just makes changing the fluid so much easier. Now hopefully this information proved helpful to you, and as always, thanks for watching.